Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the High on Data podcast. My name is Mahalakshmi Nageswaran. I am the business head for the B2B technology and media teams in LatentView. I'm excited to welcome AJ Shin, manager of data science for marketing with Adobe. Thank you so much for joining us today, AJ. Let's begin with a quick introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about your professional journey, particularly your interest in the area of data and analytics, AJ, and how it all started?
So with the background in statistics and business, it really was connecting the different data that we can use in practice. So learning about these data science and machine learning models, how do we apply them into the real practical life settings? So when I first started Adobe, the first model that I built at Adobe was lifetime value. And the way I did that is, again, taking the learnings on what I know about machine learning, making sure that we can apply them, providing the right output. So I went through that journey. And then eventually growing out to different solutions, different marketing solutions. So beyond lifetime value, looking at some audience pieces, segmentation work. So some of that as well. And then eventually growing this team out to a cross-category marketing solutions team.
Awesome. Moving on from professional journey to customer journey today, let's dive into our topic of discussion, which is around full funnel marketing. And when we look at the origins of full funnel marketing, it dates back to late 19th century. And that is when the IDA model was proposed, which is, again, for the benefit of our listeners, elaborating on that, it is awareness, interest, desire, and action. And the full funnel marketing concept evolved from the IDA model. And today it encompasses post purchase stages as well in terms of engagement, retention, adoption, and loyalty. Currently, when I think about full funnel marketing today, feels like it's a blend of customer relationship management and digital marketing, promising every user to address their needs based on their unique journey. Interestingly, when I think about journeys, AJ, I am able to recall a conversation I had with Bhubesh, who's head of our marketing analytics practice a couple of months back. We were working on a value proposition for our B2B solutions at that point, and we encountered this theme around B2B journeys where we kept reading that it's largely a non-linear journey. So when I came across that phrase, I couldn't internalize it completely. I was thinking about it, and then I thought, okay, how is it non-linear? Typically, we have a conversation, then we start with an awareness, and then probably the buyer is looking to talk to multiple other vendors and suppliers to understand and get a better proposal. Then it goes on to a negotiation stage, and then we end up finalizing a contract. That's how it happens. So, what is the non-linearity about it? I was thinking at that point, but a very recent experience, I would say, helped me understand that a little bit better. Again, it's a personal experience. I have a Google Pixel phone, and I didn't give too much of a thought when I had to look for a smart watch as well. I just went ahead and picked up a Google Pixel at that point. It gave up recently on me, and then again I was super lazy, didn't feel like doing any research. I just decided, okay, I'll again go ahead and pick up a latest version of Google Pixel watch. But I happened to go to Best Buy for picking up something else, and then I saw the aisle where they had a lot of Garmin watches. So, in the case of Google, I didn't need any awareness. I had already gone to a consideration. Then I abandoned the journey there, and then I started looking at Garmin watches. Then came back home, read about all the reviews about Garmin, and almost decided, okay, I'll go for a particular model of Garmin watch. Happened to meet a friend in the evening. She showed me some Insta pictures, saw a very athletic person wearing a Samsung Galaxy 6. Then I said, okay, no Garmin, let me go ahead and order this Galaxy 6. It had a, what do I say, camel colored strap. And then when I looked up the website, it said it's a bespoke edition. Then I thought, okay, this must be something exquisite and perfect. Let me just go ahead and order that. So when I look at this journey of purchase from each of the brand's perspective, I started the journey somewhere and I abandoned the journey somewhere halfway through the funnel or circle or however we want to call it. I had moved from online to store to back to online. And in this process, I had touched search, store, social channels, skipped a few stages, moved back on a few stages, came back again. And I don't know what all I did. But again, when I look at the journey, it's definitely not linear. And as some people say that it's circular because we are now looking at retention and then coming a full circle. I wouldn't even want to say it's a circle here. This had a lot of concentric circles and some half circles, I would say, but totally it was complex and chaotic, as what I could think of the journey. Again, this is just a $500 decision. When we think about B2B journeys and the number of people who are part of the buying center and the complexities involved in all of these journeys, again, it's mind blowing. Again, given all of these stages and journeys and the influx of data and the variety of channels that we are seeing, full funnel marketing seems to be like a critical strategy an organization should adopt. What, in your view, would be a right strategy? And what do you think does full funnel marketing bring in to the table in terms of an additional power from what organizations were doing traditionally?
Yeah, I think it may go back to when, just industry wide we were looking at just acquisition. It's all about, hey, drive conversions. I guess full funnel
Hmm.
marketing is now more important because of exactly what you said, Maha. It's non-linear. There's concentric circles, there's half circles, full circles, there's all sorts of circles, and it's about like, how do we get these people to come back? We should incorporate that in some element of full funnel marketing as well. But I think, to me, full funnel marketing is critical because it helps us understand, all the way from awareness, the outside world, and how do we bring those people in to be more familiar with our products, and then get them down the funnel to convert eventually. And then once they cancel, how do we bring them back? And that whole 360 cycle is what I would say a full funnel marketing measurement would be. I think it really comes in handy when it comes to understanding where the blockage is. So you look at a customer journey, they go from awareness to interest, to your point. They may take about 10 days from awareness stage to interest stage, but then they may sign up immediately and then convert immediately. So, like, you can kind of understand where the blockages are. Oh, I'm getting stuck at the awareness stage. How can I improve that journey a little more? It could be the other way. It could be that a user takes 1 day to sign up, but then they take, I don't know, a month to convert. They're considering, and they're not really converting. Oh, then like, oh, we gotta get them more interested in the product, get them to use it a little bit, more familiarized with some sort of motion to help drive that conversion. And I think that's where the full funnel marketing measurement comes into play, because all of those connecting pieces will help you understand where your blockage or where your product is not really doing well.
Yeah, another interesting example when you mentioned the word blockage, I was recently reading up about a beauty brand, AJ. When you said full funnel marketing is unblocking, this comes to my mind. So this brand is a Israeli brand. It's named Il Makiage. So they are into high-end makeup products. So they have these concealers and foundations that normally people choose. And they were looking at the customer journey again with an intent to understand where in the journey can they influence and bring about a change. So I was reading through this. There was a statement by their chief financial officer where they said that, hey, my customers are always on Insta. They are scrolling through the pages all the time. They are looking up YouTube videos. They are looking for inspiration. They are looking to learn. And they are also dreaming about this particular or perfect product for them. But then when it comes to making an actual purchase, they go to the store. They run to the store because all they need is a little bit of guidance and a personalized recommendation. Because when we typically visit a beauty store like a Sephora, we have experts who are there in the counters who will then have a conversation with you, look at you, and suggest something which might be suitable for your skin tone and all of that. So that was missing in an online experience, which is why folks were running to the store. So to address this pain point, Il Makiage wanted to recreate that in-store experience online. They leveraged the power of AI and data, and then they came up with a very interesting match algorithm which will ask the user to kind of choose some of the particular shades of skin and then determine the undertones of their skin and the texture of their skin. and then recommend a particular shade to them. Again, the change that they brought about leveraging AI and data was something new in the world of beauty and kind of changed the way in which people shopped for beauty products. So, this totally rivaled the way an in store experience is, and they were able to bring about that change. And as a new brand, they had to work on their awareness and consideration. They also leveraged influencers on the ground, and also they leveraged traditional marketing methodologies like very pointed billboards to kind of capture interest and deliver on the brand message. As I think about some of the things that you said around unblocking the journey itself and how full funnel marketing is helping us move beyond just conversion and look at all these stages and then help the customer have a great experience. That's where the beauty lies, I feel, because we are able to connect with the customer in each stage of the journey, have an interaction with them repeatedly with multiple touch points, and then we are driving in that brand message as well, so that when the moment of truth comes in, when the purchase decision has to be made, your brand remains top of the mind for them as well. So I think that is where the beauty of it lies. Again, there are so many stages, there are so many channels that we spoke about, and in order to ensure that all of these elements align and function in unison, it is also important to measure them and ensure that we are delivering on that promise of customer experience. So, what are some of the key metrics or KPIs that you would recommend an organization to sort of look at when they are planning this journey or move towards full funnel marketing, AJ?
Yeah, I think key metrics, it could vary industry to industry. I can't say for sure what certain metrics would be for a particular company. It really depends on what you want to focus on. I think some common metrics that you could look into are maybe net promoter scores, so NPS, for those of you that are familiar. Traffic search, even, just like how many people are coming into our website, and then all the way to annual recurring revenue, ARR. It's an industry standard metric, right? So looking at a 12-month billing period, and then looking at how much money we get from that. It really depends on the company, and also depends on which stage you're looking at. But I think those are some of the KPIs that you can lay out across the full funnel marketing funnel. And then I think the right metrics for each stage really just the right metric for each stage comes from the product lifecycle that the given product is in. I think this is really key, because when a product is in an early stage, that's not when you want to convert people immediately. So your focus should not be on ARR. But then when a product is more mature and it's like you built it out properly and then people are using it, that's when you can really start to focus on that ARR metric. So yeah, given where the product is in the life cycle, it's important to look at or focus on different KPIs within the full funnel marketing.
Got it. So depending on where the product is with respect to its life cycle, if it's early on in its product life cycle, we focus on awareness metrics. When the product has matured a lot better, then we start focusing on an ARR metric.
Right.
Got it. Got it. AJ, thanks for that input. Well, so we are looking at full funnel marketing as an engine or mechanism to guide our customers across those various stages. So that's what we are discussing. But then for that full funnel marketing strategy to be effective, it has to be personal and at some level. It is when we are placing a concept of personalization on top of full funnel marketing, it is just not about moving people through various stages. It is rather about making that individual connect with each of those customers so that they are able to resonate with the brand, and then it results in a desirable outcome for the brand as well. What would be your ideas or suggestions when an organization is looking to integrate personalization on top of their marketing strategies, AJ?
Yeah, I guess I can't emphasize more that data is really important. I guess that may be intuitive for most people, but it's really about knowing your customers and what they want, and figuring out that, hey, these customers are in need of such and such product or such and such features. That's what you got to understand. So let's say you have a product that you built out, and then it was for working professionals, but you may suddenly bring in a ton of YouTube subscribers, right? You may be targeting the wrong people entirely. But I guess it's like the people that tell you what your product is for, you don't get to decide what your product is for. So if you thought it was going to be for working professionals, but then you're bringing in a whole bunch of YouTube influencers, you better change your product, right? Or you figure out, oh, okay, this may not be the right population to go after. Who else can I reach out from marketing perspective? So I think it's really the customer centric mindset that we should all focus on, and I think that really just comes from understanding our customers, their needs, and then making sure that your product serves what they need.
Got it. You touched upon 2 points. One is data, and then the other about the customer need itself, understanding the customer need. I'm just
Mhm.
thinking about two of these aspects, and there are certain brands who have even understood the underlying need of the customer without the customers explicitly stating some of those things, have sort of mastered, I would say, the art of personalization. Netflix is one such brand that I can think of. They've been in existence for about 25 plus years now, and they're known for their personalized recommendation that leads all of us into binge watching a lot of movies and titles that they always promote. One such personalization example that stood out was that recently, I don't know when they started this, but I see the match percentage that comes up whenever I pick a title in Netflix, AJ. So earlier, I
Mhm.
used to think that this has some relationship with the IMDb rating or some of the reviews that we see about a particular movie or a title. Later, I got to know that this percentage match is something that is based on how likely it is that this title will cater to that unique person's needs. For example, if AJ is a person who likes a particular genre and particular or has given a thumbs up for a set of titles in the past, then if the recommendation algorithm kind of picks it up and sort of positions that match percentage. Interestingly, when I was reading about this match percentages, I came across another article which said that even the gallery artwork that we see on top of the titles, it is also kind of tweaked and personalized based on the person, it seems. For example, if we take a particular movie like, say, Ford versus Ferrari or something, for a person who is interested in action and adventure, probably they will have an artwork which is showing just two racing cars. And for a person who is interested in drama, they'll show a picture of Matt Damon and Christian Bale so that the person gets a flavor of there is a human element beyond the racing, and there is some friendship or some underlying relationship. So they are even personalizing and customizing the artwork. I was amazed at the level of personalization that we are all able to experience today, and this is all happening at scale. But again, all of this, again, implementation of full funnel marketing or personalization, it is definitely not easy. There could have been a lot of challenges. So, wanted to check with you again, in your field of work. What are some of the challenges that you have seen or you foresee that organizations will be going through when they are looking at personalization and full funnel marketing, AJ?
Yeah, it's definitely making sense of the data. You just can't use all data, right? You gotta know which ones to use properly and when to use what. And I think that helps you guide some of the things like match rates that Netflix is doing. They're not gonna use, I don't know, 100 variables. They're just gonna use a select few that's gonna be relevant to that match rate criteria. And I think that's important for all of us to understand, because we cannot be using everything that's out there. We should be using a select few and then doing targeting personalization from there. I guess one good example would be, what content do we put out to maybe get a customer to return? Maybe get that, provide them an email, provide them a display ad or something. But what content do we put out there? I think that really depends on that person. But what variable goes into that model is should be a subset of the entire thing that you know about this customer.
Got it, AJ. From a data perspective and solving a problems perspective, I think what you said made a lot of sense. From an organizational perspective, some challenges that you foresee when they are implementing a full funnel strategy, because this is a strategic change, requires a mindset change. Anything from your end on what challenges you have seen and how people have worked towards overcoming some of those challenges, AJ?
Yeah, okay. So if you're talking from organizational perspective, I think the biggest challenge is aligning stakeholders. because when it comes to different stakeholders playing a different role, you don't necessarily have a full alignment on the game plan. One good example would be like you have GTM, go-to-market people that always want to
Mm.
drive conversion. We want to get people into down the funnel, make sure we hit the numbers. And then you have some sort of like broad product marketing strategy that's looking at 2-3 years down the line. Is this the right fit? Is this the right product? They're asking those questions. They inherently have different interests, right? So how do you get alignment on that? How do you make everybody feel comfortable? I think stakeholder alignment is probably the most challenging in terms of an organization.
Totally agree with you on that point. In some of the conversations I have had with some of our B2B stakeholders, the common concern or the pain point that I've seen is around the alignment or problem of alignment that the marketing, sales, and customer service teams normally experience, and often at the cost of not being able to share data across teams, not being able to align on KPIs across teams, all of that leading to poor customer experience in the end. And I can understand in a very large marketing organization as well, we have web teams, we have GTM teams, we have product marketing teams, acquisition, engagement, and then the social flavor to it, brand teams, so many interdepartmental business units. I can totally imagine the kind of challenges that each of these teams would be facing when aligning on a particular strategy.
Yeah.
There was a cartoon image that I saw recently. Again, I was working on the concept of silo teams, and I saw this famous marketoonist Tom Fishburne, where there is an image of a leader addressing his team members. The leader says, "Hey, folks, we have to have a lot of cross collaboration. Just make sure that you bill the other person's department every time you have a conversation with each other." So that is the kind of, I would say, silos that we are looking at, we are facing, and we are trying to break down and then make progress. So very valid point in terms of the siloed organization and how some of these strategies need to be top down driven so that folks can come together, work in unison, and ensure that they are able to hit that north star of customer experience. AJ, valid points on that. While we are talking about all of these organizational strategies, what organizations can do to make the funnel easier, unblock things, and make it more personalized, there is also the other side, or even the first step, where it is important to identify the right customers before we even deploy these organizational strategies. And we are hearing that a lot of organizations are using the lifetime value metrics and cost of acquisition metrics in unison to understand if they have been able to identify the right customer and bring them into the funnel. So, wanted to understand your perspective, AJ, in terms of some of these newer and more effective or perceived as effective matrices. What are your thoughts there, AJ?
Yeah, so lifetime value, first of all, can come in multiple different flavors. It's again different from industry to industry. For a subscription business, it's really the retention component. Let's say these people are paying monthly. When do we expect this person to cancel out? I think it's the retention prediction that comes into the picture when we look at lifetime value for a subscription business. So building an LTV model, so lifetime value LTV model, can be as just simple as leveraging historical retention rates, extrapolating that out, or it could actually be more sophisticated and use machine learning to individually score the likelihood for these people. So if we believe that certain behaviors lead to higher lifetime value for a single person, it's actually more powerful because now you know what that person is looking out for. So as opposed to just using a historical retention rate, it's much more important for us to understand each individual at the individual level and then build out a lifetime value model from there. That's going to give you a better or more accurate read of what your return is going to be over customer acquisition cost.
Got it. So, when you said that the LTV metric is largely used on the retention side, just spinning it a little bit and thinking about it differently, because there are acquisition costs associated when we are also onboarding a particular customer. Is
Mhm.
there a possibility of predicting or foreseeing what the lifetime value of a particular segment or a customer could be, and then decide whether the acquisition team should put in the effort to sort of go behind that segment or the customer and acquire them. Because if I'm able to sort of, again, not accurately predict a ballpark number on this is what the lifetime value of this segment has been largely, then should I sort of prioritize this in my acquisition strategy? So wouldn't that be a spin on that to sort of take lessons from the LTV and then apply it to our acquisition strategy or goals as well, AJ? Any thoughts
Yeah.
around that?
Absolutely. So, like lifetime value would give you a threshold in a sense of how much you can spend up to. So, let's say if you're going to generate about $20 per person in return, then you don't want to be spending $40, right? So,
Hmm.
understanding lifetime value in advance to give you some sort of a threshold, I think that's important. Maybe for strategic reasons, you want to go after a $40 CAC for a $20 return. It could make sense in some cases, but knowing that in advance is critical.
Got it. AJ, thank you so much. Have had a good discussion with you on full funnel marketing and personalization so far. No discussion is complete without talking about AI or Gen AI today. So, what are your thoughts on AI and Gen AI, or the role of AI and Gen AI on implementing a full funnel strategy, or taking them as part of any organization's marketing strategy, AJ? Any thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think Gen AI is fairly a new concept. I mean, AI, machine learning, it's been here for a couple of decades now, even. But I think Gen AI is a fairly new concept for everybody, and we're all trying to figure out how we can best leverage it across the entire industry, I guess. It's from product to marketing to even finance. How can we leverage some Gen AI elements? I think from a marketing standpoint, we could probably use some sentiment analysis, do some large language models, and then use leverage Gen AI to provide different content for different people. But I think overall, Gen AI is really helpful in for us to give personalized experiences to each individual as needed. And that's the power of Gen AI and really automating that process. So I think it's going to come in handy in the near future.
So, tying this to our earlier discussion on personalization, Gene is going to enable us a lot better in implementing some of these personalization aspirations that one would have as an organization. Great. Thank you so much for all your insights today. I would say that we've been able to cover a lot of ground talking about full funnel, lifetime value. We spoke about personalization, and last but not the least, we also touched upon the concept of AI. As I'm looking back at this conversation, all I'm hearing is that as data and channels and technology continues to evolve, the organizations also evolve and create newer ways to enhance the customer experiences, or the kind of customer experiences that they are able to deliver. I enjoyed this conversation a lot, AJ, and I hope that our listeners had a great time listening to our conversation as well. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of High on Data podcast. Hope to see you again soon for a lot more interesting conversations, AJ.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Malha.